Hello, and welcome to episode number, 342 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Monday Night Raw, Week 1, March 2023, and it is the Elimination Chamber TV special. And, yeah, a lot of WrestleMania implications take place tonight, including we find out who will challenge Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship in the main event, the titular match itself. It will be Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Nova, Nebula, Julia, Florence, and Sasha Banks in an Elimination Chamber match. We also have a World Heavyweight Championship match to kick off the night between Gunther and Ilja Dragunov. We have a Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental Championship match. Angelo Dawkins defends his title against Montez Ford, Chad Gable, and Mustafa Ali. And we have a Raw Tag Team Championship match between Path of the Dragon and Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, as well as Joe Hendry versus Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre and Bray Wyatt face to face. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Holy fuck. So I'm gonna like pull the curtain back here a little bit, because the storyline for the Regal Coalition stuff was like really cold last week. So like what I did was I reset it. I ended that storyline and started a new one. But then I didn't think about it because I was like, well, that might actually penalise this match. So I don't know how TEW works in that sort of regard, because it says, it could have got penalised for a lack of a hot storyline. So I thought this match was going to get like an 80 odd. So I did do a trial run of this match, like just to see if it would get dinged. And that trial run of the match got a 92. And I was like, okay, so it's not going to get dinged, and like I can expect it to still be good. The actual match gets a 97. So yeah, I knew this was going to be a banger, but I didn't quite account for that. But yeah, Ilja Dragunov and Gunther, you know what to expect just when I just say those two names. And what I would say is Gunther would probably hit the power bombs, Ilja would kick out, Ilja would hit Torpedo Moscow, Gunther would kick out, and then Ilja would try and lock in that sleeper that we used to end the Gunther's historic United Kingdom title run. And Gunther would power out, chop him and all that. But the mad Russian doesn't stay down. And in the end, he goes for a Torpedo Moscow again on Gunther, and Gunther like clocks him out of the air. And he locks him in that choke, that rear naked choke. The one that he passed out to and tapped out to when he lost the UK belt. And Ilja tries he might. In the end, he's forced to pass out to that hold. And Gunther retains. Apparently this is only his first defense. Did I not put the belt on the line against Ridge? Okay. Whatever, I thought this was his second defense. I thought he'd be defending against Ridge Holland, but I guess not. But yeah, 95 for Gunther, 85 for Ilja Dragunov. And the match gets a 97, so I had nothing to worry about at all. And yeah, that is definitely the performance of somebody who is getting over just by having matches and bangers like this. But then after the match, Gunther, he looks down at Ilja down on the floor. And he looks to add insult to injury. He looks to lock him back in that choke. When out stormed from the back, Dudley Davis and Pete Dunne. You know, they've been by Regal's side basically for a whole month now since Gunther took him out. But now they've returned and they're looking for revenge. Dudley would slide into the ring, Gunther would go to chop him. He'd bounce underneath that, bounce off the ropes, hit that big Dudley device lariat, clocking the World Heavyweight Champion off his feet. And then Pete would go to try and hit the bitter end on him. And Gunther would like toss him off, but in the end it's all three men as Gunther like chops Pete down and tries to fight off Dudley. Ilja's back up and he hits the Torpedo Moscow to send Gunther like over the top rope and to the outside to stagger. Then we have the 3 other Regal Coalition boys. You've got Dudley, Pete, and Ilja just looking at each other. And they look down at the floor of the World Heavyweight Championship. Neither man giving an inch as to what could be on their minds here. We then cut backstage and Ivy's entering Alexa's office. And Alexa goes, Ivy, good afternoon, good evening to you. And she's like, yo, that world title match was, that was great, Good start to the show, Alexa. She's like, Ivy, look, okay, I've got something for you. I need to talk to you about something. And Ivy goes, is it this incredible episode of TEW Raw that you've got planned for us all? And Alexa goes, no, it's something different. There's something more important about that. This is about La Paxica. And Ivy just shrugs her shoulders and goes, of course it is. It's like, well, listen, okay, so I don't know what was going on last week, okay, but you saw it, you were out there. Something's fishy's going on here. And it's quite apt that I say fishy, because, Bobby Fish, he might not be as good at finding lies as he likes to give on that he is. And Ivy goes, well, wasn't that a given if he had to ask where it was? He goes, that's not important. Anyway, so, La Paxica's coming here tonight. And Ivy goes, why do you keep inviting this woman here if you don't like her? It's because I'm being hoodwinked and bamboozled, Ivy, and I need to get to the bottom of this. So you need to go out there, as my security, meet La Paxica, and take her out for me. And Ivy goes, whatever, okay, yes, well, when's she going to get here? And Alexa goes, well, I don't know, just wait by the entrance of the arena, and then jump her when she gets here, and then let me know. And Ivy goes, great, you've got it, Alexa. We then head backstage. Gaffy's with the women's tag team champions. And they're talking about the Heat, the upcoming Heat Battle Royal, the tag team battle on Heat to determine their number 1 contenders for WrestleMania. And she goes, Liv, Shida, you've fought off all challenges that come your way. Is there any team you're specifically looking at as like the team you want to face at WrestleMania? And then Liv gives the generic response, Gaffy, we'll fight whoever we've got put up against. But, Ruby Riott and Toni Storm, we could do with giving them another beating. We'd love to step back into the ring with teams like Smile and Shine. You've got new teams we've yet to face off with. Yoko Miko we've faced off with again as well, so we'd like to face them again. And, it's always a good time when us are in there with, the grand jury. So, it really is a wait-and-see approach, because there are a lot of teams that either deserve opportunities or have yet to be given that opportunity and just need that push to break out. And that's what these titles are for. Okay? And we are going to create that opportunity at WrestleMania with whoever wins that Battle Royal to put these belts on the map. And Kathy goes, well, there you have it. 70 rated match. Perfectly fine. Literally bang in the middle of the 2 in-ring performances. Yeah, this only goes 7 minutes because I was really short on time, as you'll see later on in a minute. But yeah, this 7 minutes is perfectly fine TV match length for this. Joe Hendry beats Karrion Kross though. Karrion goes for nothing personnel. Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation. Gets the 1, 2, 3. 60 for Hendry, 80 for Karrion. And the epic feud that should have been the WrestleMania main event, but I blew it off here, is now in the books, and Joe Hendry has picked up a big win. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Because I do. Then just get a quick training video from Ichiban in like a dojo. Suzuki-gun style dojo, like just fucking where Minoru Suzuki would train. And he's not even training himself, he's like ordering around Nakamura and Rokuro. Because he says this is just the beginning and we're going to bring this hard-hitting style to WWE and to Raw and to the Raw tag team division. We've got Akira Tozawa, who's one of the tag team champions right now, but he's lost that edge. He's adopted a softer style since coming over to the United States. And we're here to teach him that that's not how you get success around here. You get success around here by being strong style. You get success around here by being Ichiban. And after Nakamura's big win over Drew McIntyre last week, the world is our oyster. Stuff like that. It's all narrated in Japanese, but with English subs, I imagine. Ivy then, you just get a quick look at Ivy. He's sort of just sitting, looking bored by the entrance of the arena, watching cars drive by, just sitting on a crate, like, playing around with her phone. Just go, come on, Pax, where are you? We then head to the ring. Dominic Mysterio and Anthony Nese come out. And Dominic, I imagine he's got that mask that he took off Ray last week. And he's holding it in his hands. But like he's not wearing it, he's just got it in his hand. And then he starts like pretending he's ventriloquisting with the mask. He's like, last week I had a special announcement. I, Rey Mysterio, the washed up luchador, was going to have a retirement ceremony and not even invite my own son. I was going to invite my wife and daughter, but not my son. And not only was I not going to invite my son, I was going to break my promise to my son. I was not going to hand him the mask, despite the fact that he earned the right to be handed the mask, like I promised him I would if he became a wrestler. Well, Dad, hope you enjoy your retirement ceremony, because there's one thing I did, and that's actually help you out here. Because now you haven't got to worry about any of this, because I got rid of you. There'll be no Rey Mysterio retirement tour. You won't be one of these has-beens clinging on to past glory, because you're done. And it's because of me. But there is just one more thing that I do want from you. I want you to come back here. And I want you to bestow this mask upon me. So, Dad, you seem to not want to hit your little baby boy. Out of respect, I guess it is. But I would love to kick your ass. Hell, I would love to prove that I'm the best going today. So, as your cruiserweight champion, I'm going to prove that I am the best thing going today. And I'm going to defend this belt this Friday night on Velocity. Out comes Kyle O'Reilly. And we haven't seen him on Raw in a while, but Bobby Fish was doing Where's the Lie stuff last week, so I guess we're going to just take the UE guys in different directions. So he's like, well, I'd love to fucking fight you, bitch. You know, you disrespect an icon like Rey Mysterio, one of my idols. And that's your own dad, and I'm going to beat his son up and prove that his son's a disappointment. And Dominic goes, well, isn't that big of you, Kyle? Well, here's the thing. Once I defend this against you on Friday, you are cordially invited next week to the official funeral of the career of Rey Mysterio. Tell your friends. I'll be telling my mom and my sis, they came last week. We can't do it without you guys. You're cordially invited next week after I beat Kyle's ass on Friday to come and pay your tributes to my deadbeat dad's career. So what's to take in there? Kyle O'Reilly come to the defense of Rey Mysterio and getting a title match on Velocity this week. And Dominic announcing the funeral of the career of Rey Mysterio next week. So, yeah. That's a whole lot of Dominic Mysterio. I know you're excited. We then head backstage and Imperium are there talking to Kathy Kelly. And everybody's cutting awful promos tonight. I don't know why. And she's talking about tonight's tag team title match. And Ludwig as well. We respect everything that Humberto and Tozawa have done with those tag team championships because they are one of the greatest tag teams we have here in WWE. But it's time for a new stranglehold on the division. It's time for a new ruler, a new leadership, a new style of tag team wrestling to take over, and that is the Imperium way. Me and Vinci have always been bonded, He's done his thing, I've done my thing, but we've always been bonded by that imperial bond of how sacred it is to step onto that mat. And I've been chasing a championship for my collection, Kathy, this entire time. It wasn't the Intercontinental title, it wasn't the World Heavyweight title, but maybe I just needed some help acquiring my greatest treasure. And then Vinci's there in his suit and his sunglasses, and he goes, and even better, that suit, it's gonna pop up, gonna go well with my suit, going to go over my jacket, you know. It's going to look stylish. Because in that ring, I may be lethal. But outside that ring, it's so good to be Veni Vidi Vinci. And he sort of points to the camera and smiles, and Ludwig goes, what is the matter with you, man? What happened? So, tag match later on tonight. This Imperium duo against Path of the Dragon for the tag belt, which should also be good. Not as good as the opening match, but yeah, should also be good. Speaking of matches, out comes Baron Corbin and Jeff Jarrett for their advertised match with Finn Balor. Well, Corbin's, not Jarrett's. And then we come back from break. Finn makes his entrance, but as he gets into the ring, he gets onto the top rope to throw his arms in the air. When he's twatted from behind by Jeff Jarrett with a guitar. And boos echo around the arena. Then Jarrett and Corbin to sort of get into the ring and start attacking Finn 2-on-1. Throwing him against the ring post, toss him around ringside. Getting chairs and stuff, wailing into him. So there's no match between these two here tonight. Because, again, time constraints, I had to cut it. But that's not going to be the end of this segment. Because Jarrett, I imagine, will get another guitar out of somewhere. And he's going to crack a second guitar over Finn Balor's head. Went out from the mouth, rushes AJ Styles. So we saw Sami Zayn move over to Raw, or move over to SmackDown. And I said that, you know, that probably means you can probably get a good guess of somebody who will be coming over to Raw for about a Raw angle. Here comes AJ Styles. And he rushes into the ring and he hits a phenomenal forearm on Jeff Jarrett. And then Corbin charges at him, he ducks that. Finn probably sling blades him. And AJ and Finn stand tall over Jeff Jarrett and Corbin down on the floor. And they too sweet. They come back to Alexa's office and she's with Tyler and Tonya Breeze of all people. Like I imagine the situation is Alexa, we see her in her office chair. She just sat at her desk, like looking at her phone, like occasionally looking up at Tonya, but mainly keeping her eyes focused on her phone. It's like, I just think that next week the Maximum Male Model brand had its first true showcase. Okay, so my brother here, he's sort of still trying to get into the whole gist of this. And I think really seeing my plan in motion will really win him over. And Alexa's like, still looking at her phone, she's like, oh, sorry, yeah, sure, Tonya, sure, it's fine. Yes, it's like, great, I'm glad you agree, Alexa. It's like, yeah, now get out of my office. And then the Breezes leave, and we just see Alexa again going, come on, Ivy, come on. And then we hear a voice off screen go, evening, Alexa. It's like, oh, boss lady, you scared me. What are you even doing here? There's, oh, you know, it's Raw Elimination Chamber. Of course, I'd check the whole show out, you know. I hear a lot has gone on tonight already. And Alexa goes, yeah, you know, there was a World Heavyweight Championship match. I heard that was good. And Stephanie's like, heard? It's like, yeah, you know, I mean, I saw it and I knew it was great, but I hear everybody else also thought it was great, you know. But other people's opinions really matter to me, boss lady, huh? Stephanie's like, well, that's good to know. But I was wondering what you were going to do about, you know, the Jeff Jarrett Baron Corbin situation that we just saw. And Alexa goes, well, Corbin's wrestling Finn tonight, so I haven't got to worry about that. And Stephanie goes, no, there was no match. AJ Styles ran out and saved Finn. And I was wondering what you were going to do about that. Not delivering the fans a match that was promised to them. And she goes, well, obviously that's not ideal, but when you're working a job like this, occasionally these sort of hiccups do happen, and yes! Stephanie's like, what? We gotta, boss lady, we gotta. And Stephanie goes, what? Got who? He's like, I know this is really important. I'll be 2 minutes, and then I'll quickly come back. And then Alexa rushes out of the room. And Stephanie sort of looks around awkwardly like, well, okay then. 88. Okay. Intercontinental Championship match. Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Chad Gable, Mustafa Ali. So the numbers game is against our beloved champion here. And he's got to fight off 3 other men. Tez does big dives. Ali, I guess, does big dives. Gable wrestles like a big brain strategist. He hits an O'Connor roll German on Mustafa Ali, gets a 2. Actually, no, I imagine one of the spots I would want to do is he hits the O'Connor roll German on Ali, and then he bridges the pin, obviously, and then Montez Ford breaks it up by hitting a frog splash on the bridging Gable. I think that would look sick. But in the end, Angelo Dawkins retains the championship by pinning Montez Ford. I imagine the situation is one of the other two has hit him with a finisher, left him laying. Then Dawkins charges in and pounces that man. Probably Ali off a 450, probably. Like he 450s Tez and then rolls through onto his feet, but then he gets met with a pounce as soon as he gets to his feet. And then Dawkins contemplates it for a second or two before he pins Montez Ford to retain the title. Dawkins gets a 70, but he was off his game, so, it's not all doom and gloom for our champion. 76 for Tez, 87 for Gable, and 91 for Mustafa Ali. Sure, game. Those ratings seem accurate, and that rating is good, so I'm not going to complain. We then see the anime boys and Sensei's training them because they've got their huge meeting with who I've called the Resistance in my head. Like, that's their evil villain team name. Next week about Saray and the pendant and all this shit. We're in the end game now, The blips happened. Everyone's turned to dust and it's up to our heroes to save the day. And Sensei's training, Column of the Sea, and Dio. Everyone's there except for Manny. And Sensei's like, has anyone seen Manny today? And Dio goes, he was being super weird this morning. Like, I know he's stressed because, Saray's gone and all that, but I didn't realize it meant this much to him. He's being kind of weird. Maybe we should check up on him. And Sensei's like, do you know where his room is? And he goes, yeah, so it's over this way, come in. And then Sensei and Dio walk over to Manny's room. They knock on the door, and there's no answer. And they're like, huh? I could have sworn he's still in here. He knocks on the door loud, he goes, Manny! And Sensei's like, well, I think I can pick this lock if we really try hard. With our stealth skill. If we get a good enough roll, And Dio goes, I like what you're thinking. And they sneak into Manny's room, and the lights are off. But we can hear music in the background. And Dio turns the light and he goes, Manny, hello? And then Manny turns around startled because they've walked into his bedroom where he's singing and dancing Hatsune Miku. He's got Hatsune Miku all over his wall. And he goes, what the hell, guys? I said knock! And Dio goes, we did twice, but you didn't hear anything. He goes, well, I'm just getting myself, in the zone, I've got to fight like my hero Miku if we're gonna fight off this resistance. And Dio goes, whoa, sure, buddy, I'll leave you to it. And Manny goes, I promise you it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. Dio, don't you shut that door. And then Dio shuts the door in his face. And then Dio and Sensei just sort of look at each other awkwardly like, okay, let's pretend we didn't see that. Logan Paul, though. He's not at the show. We get a video promo of him training in his gym. Probably with Jake, but I'm not going to put Jake on screen or ever allude to him ever being in the series. But, yeah, that will, who his training partner would probably be. And he's cutting a promo on Dolph Ziggler. He goes, I think Ziggler's just mad that he's been at this for 15 years and I'm better than him, even though I've had 2 matches. So, Ziggler challenges me to WrestleMania. Me and Ziggler are wrestling off at WrestleMania. His first singles match at WrestleMania in front of a crowd. And he's going to get embarrassed by a YouTuber. Huh? Must suck to be as bang average at your job as Dolph Ziggler is, whereas I excel at everything I do. See you there, Dolph. We then get an interview with Path of the Dragon, head of the tag title match tonight. And Kathy says, well, first and foremost, we heard from Imperium earlier on tonight about tonight's match, but there's a lot going on in the tag team title scene, because I'm getting the word that next week there will be a tag team gauntlet with the winning team going on to face Path of the Dragon or Imperium for the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. So what's your strategy heading into that match, or into tonight's match? And Tozawa goes, well, or Humberto even goes, well, Imperium are a team that have been together for a long time. They are very similar to us in some regard. They have their style, we have our style. So it's sure to be a great match. We're not going to overlook Imperium at all. But tonight we didn't come this close. We didn't come this far. We didn't get this close to WrestleMania to drop the titles at the final hurdle. So, Kathy, what we're going to do is the same thing we do every single other night and every single other time we defend these championships. And that's win. Let's go on to the grandest stage of them all. Beat whoever wins that gauntlet match next week and continue our run. And then Tozawa takes the mic and he goes, Ichiban, say I've gone soft. Watch and learn. And then Tozawa and Humberto walk out of frame and Zergus is still there. And then Kathy sort of awkwardly looks up at him as he just sort of standing there growling to himself. And then puts a mic in his face. And he's like, I'm so sick of Montez Forge, bravo. Your friend is the Intercontinental Champion, but then you got beat tonight. Some of us would have killed for that opportunity, Tez. But you wasted it. Because you don't want to fight your own tag team partner. I'd have whipped everybody's ass in that match. And I'd be standing here Intercontinental Champion right now. I'd be sheesh, 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 sheesh. I don't want to hear it. Okay, Dino Boy. Listen here. Kathy, you saw that match earlier on tonight. You saw that Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way. It was a disgrace, okay? He's right in that he's moaning about Montez Ford. Because Montez Ford is the right guy to moan about. Because he lost that match. Because he can't get his head in the game. Because he can't handle the Dawkins has surpassed him. But Chad Gable, I beat the Intercontinental Champion. Where's my one-on-one championship match, huh, Kathy? Huh? Why am I wrestling 3 other men for the belt that should be mine? Huh? So, yes, Dino Boy, you can shut your growling mouth. There's only one person here who is the uncrowned, deserving Intercontinental Champion, and ain't any idiot in this dinosaur mask here, Kathy. It's me. Thank you. Can I get an 82B for our Raw Tag Team? That's actually really good considering I think both these storylines had bad heat. But, as you can expect, the lads have done it again. Tozawa pins Giovanni Vinci in 1450 with a diving senton to make defense number 11 of the Raw Tag Team titles. 88 for Ludwig, 79 for Vinci, 85 for Humberto, and a 91 for Akira Tozawa. And yet another defense for Path of the Dragon, and this does now mean they will head to WrestleMania as the Raw Tag Team Champions. How are children, they grow up so fast, We then see Alexa approaching a locker room. She's texting. She's like, I think this is the right room. And she opens the locker room door, and the lights are off. And I imagine there's a dimly lit spotlight where on a chair we can see La Paxica, Core, and tied to a chair. Alex goes, haha, Ivy, you finally came through for once. And she pulls up another chair and just sits next to La Paxica, looking at her. He goes, so, you're in a bit of a pickle here, huh? You've done nothing but cause me grief ever since I introduced you here, huh? First of all, you don't listen to my orders. You like to try and make things all about yourself, and you like to think that I brought you in to, become the Raw Women's Champion and become a success. No, you're just here to help me. Ivy's just here to help me. You think I actually care about whether or not Ivy is successful here in WWE? No. It's all about me and making sure I'm doing the best job possible to impress the bosses. Okay? And then you thought you were going to be the hero of the Royal Rumble, huh? How'd that end up for you? Huh? And now here you are, brought back to me. Now you can't keep this charade up any longer. I don't know how you pulled it off, okay? With Bobby Fish last week. Is he on this too? Because I know that I'm not going crazy, huh? I know I'm sane. I'm as sane as I've ever been. When I look at you and I look into your eyes, I only see one person. And, oh, bless your little cotton socks, okay? Because you're kind of in a bad way right now, and I could leave you here for as long as I want. So, what's it to be, huh? You gonna come clean, or are you gonna pretend to do this the hard way? And we just hear, like, mumbled voices. I was like, the hard way, I see, right. And then the door flies open and the lights get turned on. And then Steffi's there goes, Alexa, what the hell are you doing? She's like, Boss lady, alright, sorry, right, I told you I could be 2 minutes, okay, we got a little bit caught up with all this. And Steffi goes, well, quite frankly, I've done sugarcoating this. The reason I've been here the last few weeks is because I've heard less than stellar reviews about your performance in this role as a general manager. So I thought I would come here to see it to myself, but apparently you're not even answering calls, you're not even solving chaos that's brewing out on your show. Raw's sort of falling apart, and all you're worried about is sitting in here and playing with Ivy and dressing her up like a luchador. Alexa goes, well, I can explain this. Wait, what do you mean Ivy? And Stephanie takes the Paxley mask off, and it was Ivy Nile under there the whole time. It's like, what do you do? What happened to... And then, he goes, Alexa, okay, I've given you plenty of chances. Okay, you need to sort this out, you need to sort yourself out. You need to sort this show out. Because quite frankly, if you don't, well, you're going to pay for it. And Stephanie leaves. And Alexa's like, she looks like she's just pondering everything for a couple of seconds, then just turns to Ivy and goes, so when she attacked you, where did she go? And then Ivy just throws around and you're like, really? That's what you care about here? We then cut back to Imperium. Lord Vig's not happy. He's loose. He goes, I thought tonight was the night. I thought tonight was the night that I added a championship to my collection and we came up short. What are we doing wrong, Vinci? And he goes, perhaps we are targeting the wrong prize. And Lord Vig just looks at him and he goes, what do you mean? And he goes, perhaps there's a much greater prize that the two of us should be working together to achieve. We've already started our quest for it. But soon, we claim that prize. And then Vinci walks off, and Ludwig goes, aha, see, this is why we're partners. And he follows Vinci off as well. So they may have come up short in the tag title match tonight, but they're cooking something. Speaking of cooking something, Drew McIntyre comes to the ring. And he goes, well, it's been a couple of weeks now, Bray. And I'm tired of all this voodoo bullcrap, okay? I challenged you one-on-one. You challenged me one-on-one to a match at WrestleMania. And when I say I want a match one-on-one at WrestleMania, I don't mean any of this spooky mask smoke show bullcrap that you're trying to pull, okay? I mean just me and you, man versus man, in that ring. So why don't you come on down and prove you've got the balls? Out comes Bray. And he gets into the ring. And he goes, Drew, man, you... please don't do this. And he goes, don't do what? He goes, please, I don't want him to please don't accept this match at WrestleMania, Drew. Drew goes, what? You challenged me last week, you big dummy. What are you talking about? Cut the cryptic bullcrap and speak like a man, goddammit. And Bray goes, I'm not being cryptic, Drew McIntyre. I'm being honest. I've never been more honest in my entire life. I've never been less transparent than I am now. It wasn't me who challenged you to that match at WrestleMania. I mean, I've signed on for it now, so it will be me and you, man. But just know that we're not too dissimilar. I've also been set up here. And Drew goes, what the hell are you talking about, huh? Do you want to be a man and fight me at WrestleMania, or do you want to be a coward, huh? And he smacks Bray Wyatt in the face. And Bray, he gets proper angry. He looks like he wants to go hit him back. But he shows restraint. And he goes, I get it, man. You don't trust me, and I get that. I've done a lot of bad things in my past. That's why I'm trying to repent, man. But they won't let me, man. Out comes Susanna and Uncle Howdy onto the stage. And they just stand there, and Drew goes, great. I thought I didn't want any of this bullcrap, Bray, huh? And he sort of grabs Bray and pushes him into the corner. And then Bray, he likes to start beg for his life. When onto the side of the apron, we see 4 figures standing. And Drew goes, what the fuck is this? He goes up to one of them. And he can't hit this one's clearly a woman, so he can't hit this one. And then he turns around, and then he's been cornered by the pig, the rabbit, and the buzzard. And the 3, I guess, puppets, we'll call them, assault Drew McIntyre in the ring. Uncle Howdy and Susanna are on the ramp, watching on. So is Abby the Witch on the apron. And Bray's in the corner, looking a mixture of both terrified and excited. Because he's excited that they're the Funhouse guys, and they're here to help him. But maybe there is a little bit of doubt in the mind of Bray Wyatt. Maybe not everything is what it seems here. Next week, though, we heard it tonight, we got a stacked show for next week, including Tag Team Championship Gauntlet match. At this moment in time, speaking, I haven't decided how many teams are in it. It probably won't be the whole division, but the graphic on screen will tell you, those teams are in that Gauntlet match, with the winning team going on to WrestleMania to face Path of the Dragon for the Raw Tag Team Championships. We then also heard that Dominic Mysterio plans to hold a funeral celebration for the career of Rey Mysterio. He says he's invited his mom and his sister, much like they didn't do to him last week. But he does have a defense against Kyle O'Reilly on Friday, so will he even be the Cruiserweight Champion by that time? We then also have, following their backstage interaction earlier on tonight, Chad Gable and Zergus the Mighty one-on-one in singles action. And breaking news following the desk of a Raw General Manager Alexa Bliss, Baron Corbin will be in action next week, no more cutting time, but this time it will not be against Finn Balor. It'll be against AJ Styles. And finally, we will have an important update on the World Heavyweight Championship following Pete Dunne and Dudley Davis's return tonight and Gunther's match with Ilja Dragunov. The status of the World Heavyweight Championship heading into WrestleMania. Then gets Charlotte and the Queen's Court just chilling in a skybox, and they're about to watch this commercial-free main event for the first time ever on USA, on free TV. The Elimination Chamber descends around the ring. 85 the main event gets, which is not as good as the opener, but I didn't expect it to be. I knew that match was going to steal the night, so it's fine. I imagine we actually start with Julia and Florence in the ring, with Rhea, Nova, Bianca and Sasha in pods, because that just seems fitting, because Florence and Julia are sort of like the lesser two established women in this match, and then Nova is sort of like, she's like A or B plus, whereas the others are all like A. And then, yeah, so Florence and Julia start. So then the first pod will open, and then out comes Nova Nebula. And, yeah, etc., etc. We're not going to get any eliminations for a bit, so I might as well just read out the rest of the entry order. Because then in comes Bianca Belair, 4th, Sasha Banks 5th, and then finally last, Rhea Ripley. And I imagine when, like, Sasha comes in, she, like, runs through everyone. And then when the countdown starts for Rhea's pod to open, Sasha's, like, waiting for Rhea. Because, you know, this is the woman who took her out for all those months. So, Sasha really wants to get her hands on Rhea Ripley inside this chamber. And the second Rhea's pod opens, she charges out and she boots Sasha to the floor. And I imagine she'd, like, pick Sasha up and probably powerbombs her, I say through one of the pods, but Sasha Banks is a small woman, so it probably wouldn't break. So up against the pods, I guess, would probably be the better phrasing. And then Rhea picks up Sasha's body after she does that. She tosses her into the ring. She then gets her in position for the Riptide. Then as she picks her up, Sasha rolls through into a roll-up and eliminates Rhea Ripley first, after about 30 seconds in the match. Caught Rhea Ripley off guard. She's the first person out of this match. And as you can imagine, Rhea Ripley not taking too kindly to that. As she goes, the referee's coming to get her to leave, but she just continues to assault Sasha on the outside, smashing her head against a pod or whatever, like using the metal on the outside to ram her head against. And then, as she goes to leave, she finally nails that Riptide on Sasha, and just leaves her laying in the middle of the ring. But that leaves Julia to just scramble over the top, cover Sasha, who's out, and then Sasha's also eliminated. So we're down to 4, just like that. And the next to go would probably be Julia. KOD from Bianca eliminates her. And then we have Florence, Nova, and Bianca left in. There's the final 3. Nova Nebula hits the Big Bang Theory and then Area 451 to pin Florence. Now we're down to 2. Bianca Belair and Nova Nebula. 2 women who have had issues with Charlotte recently. Nova's goes back a little bit further because she had the issue with Bianca, with Charlotte, back in November, and then has been vowed to win the Royal Rumble but came up short. And of course, Bianca Belair never got that rematch for her Raw Women's Championship after Charlotte cashed in at New Year's Revolution. And then Bianca, still vying for that one fair shot at the title. She got cashed in at New Year's Revolution. Charlotte then cheated to beat her at the Royal Rumble. And we're down to the final 2 fan favourites. I imagine one of the spots I have in mind is that Nova would hit the Big Bang Theory and then go for the climb to the top to hit the 450. And then, sort of look around, climb to the top of the pod instead. And then she goes to hit it from off top of the pod, but Bianca springs to her feet and grabs her and hits a superplex with Nova off the top of the pod onto the floor. But can't quite get to the cover because, as she hits it, Nova rolls away, and of course it still took its toll on Bianca as well. And then, again, we get Bianca KOD attempt. Nova lands on her feet, fights her off, knocks her down. She then climbs back to the top, And Bianca again chases her up to hit another one of those big superplexes. But then Nova tosses her to the floor. And then hits a 450 off the top of the pod to win the Elimination Chamber. Nova Nebula is going to WrestleMania to wrestle Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. And Bianca, so close, but yet also so far. I imagine the shot would be as Bianca goes to leave, they open the cage door by Nova celebrating. And she sort of stops on the steps outside the cage, sort of turns around, looks back up at the WrestleMania sign with a look of sadness and frustration. Just shakes her head. How's she going to get to WrestleMania now? But one woman who will be going is Nova Nebula. She points up to Charlotte in the skybox. Charlotte holds the belt up high. And we now have our third championship match set for the grandest stage of them all. 89 rated show is okay, yeah. If I would have put Gunnar and Ilja in the main event, it would have been better. But that felt like an opener. I could not main event with the Chamber, Chamber was only the third best match of the night because the IC title match was apparently better than it as well. But okay. But we're not done with WrestleMania implications tonight because we do have that Women's Tag Team Championship Battle Royal coming up on Heat. Heat kicks off with a quick match. And they've got 3 short singles matches tonight because a lot of the women are in the Battle Royal main event. But we start off with Sonya Deville against Joanna Boone of Next Gen Cup fame. And Sonya beats her by pinfall in 9:58. She gets a 75 and a 40 for Joanna, so I guess 66 at sort of a fair rating. Yeah, why not? We then get a 59 rated match. Killer Kelly beats Billie Kay because it's been a while since Kelly wrestled. She does have an injury, which is also part of the reason why I haven't been booking her as much. And she does beat Billie with a super kick in 6:59. 41 for Killer Kelly, 61 for Billie Kay. So that match was actually a lot better than it had any right to be at 59, based on those performances at least. But yeah, Kelly picks up the win over Billie Kay here. They get another 66 rated match. A very filler episode of Heat, this. Indy Hartwell beats Violet Martin in 8:55. 68 for Indy, 45 for Violet. And then we get to our main event. Our main event is a 72. Which I guess is okay, considering there's a lot of unimportant women in this match. Let me just go through the names here. I'll do it in teams. So we've got Anne-Marie Porter and Kelsey Cook. We've got VXT. We've got Chase U. We've got DKE. We've got KC Squared. We've got Yoko Miko, Smile and Shine, Naomi and Shantae Washington. We've got the Platinum Princesses. We've got the Rebellion. And that's it. Yes. Those are the 10 teams in this match. And I imagine the final 2 teams are Rebellion and Naomi and Shantae. And Naomi gets her big hope spot in, then she finally gets eliminated. And we're down to the final 3, which are both members of the Rebellion and Shantae Washington. But Shantae's all getting all fired up. The fans are hoping she can pull this off. She's going to win it by herself. Ruby Riott goes to hit Destination Unknown, but Shantae picks her up and tosses her over the top. And we have just Toni Storm and Shantae Washington left. But then as Shantae goes to celebrate, Toni Storm lifts her up and dumps her out, getting the Rebellion the win and the Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. I put Toni Storm to win the Battle Royal. Originally I was going to have Ruby win it because she's the one the story's more so about. But Ruby winning had... I can't remember who it was. It might have been Tegan. Somebody was moaning about Ruby Riott winning the Battle Royal. And nobody moaned when I put Toni Storm, so it just seemed silly to... Since that's the team that's winning anyway, it just seemed silly to have Ruby win it and piss someone off. So I just changed the order around at the elimination to have Toni Storm win it for the team instead. And then Liv and Shida, who are at ringside, come into the ring, hold the titles up high, and then Ruby and Toni jump them. And they grab the mics and they go, "See, Trish, all this hard work, you stepped in to try and cost us this opportunity, huh? But we ended up winning your stupid little battle royal anyway. So it's all over for you now. We're going to WrestleMania and we're going to be the next women's tag team champions." And out comes Trish Stratus. She's like, well, I mean, I wasn't plotting against you, you know, I just wanted to give everybody an opportunity. You won, you proved that you deserve a title match. The end, you know, congratulations. And then Ruby and Tony beat up Trish Stratus again. And then once again, Lita rushes into the ring and she makes the save, hitting Ruby right with a twist of fate. And then Liv and Shida are still in the ring in the corner holding their belts. And Trish and Lita hug. And then look down at Ruby and Shida, or Liv and Shida. And sort of like smile. And that's how Heat goes off the air. 71 rated show, whatever. We take those. It's Heat. We don't really care that much. What matters more than that is what you thought of the show, mainly of Raw. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for SmackDown's Week 1 of March episode, which isn't a TV special, but we will hear from the Tribal Chief following his shocking return and addition to the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania on last week's show. See you then.